Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the U.S. Navy will escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz with a possible international coalition, quote, as soon as it is militarily possible. Iran's new supreme leader, meanwhile, is vowing to keep blocking this maritime choke point, which carries approximately 20% of the world's oil supply. As a result, energy prices are currently surging in the U.S. Republican Congressman and chair of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, that's Rick Crawford, told Major Garrett yesterday he believes the U.S. is capable of reopening the Strait of Hormuz through military action. Here's what he said.
It's in the rest of the world's interest to reopen that transit so that 20-some% of those products of the world's global supply moves through the Strait of Hormuz. And so I think it's important that the trade route be restored.
Joining us now is Mark Cancian. He's a retired Marine colonel and senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, also known as CSIS. Good morning. Great to have you back with us. And as we talk about this key shipping route, I'm wondering if you think enough pre-planning was done by the U.S. before attacking Iran, because that nation using this as leverage, as could have been expected.
Clearly, this was a failure in the pre-planning. The Iranians have said that they were going to close the straits. They have the capability to do that. They practice doing that. And unlike the other areas of the operation, taking down the Iranian air defenses, striking ground targets, even defending against missiles and drones, here the United States appears to have been totally unprepared. We don't have a plan on the shelf. So it's taking time to put something together.
So then what do you make of this offer, this strategy from the administration to escort tankers in the Strait? Is that feasible? And what resources would that require?
Well, it's certainly feasible. And the United States did this back in the 1980s in similar situation. But we have to keep in mind, that's a combat operation. There's a lot of Iranian shoreline there. The United States would need to take out anti-ship cruise missile batteries. It would need to shoot down any drones that attacked, make sure that there were no mines in the straits. So it's a major combat operation on its own to get ships through. And then there'll be likely some damage to U.S. escorts as they fight their way through. But once they get through and open up a passage, then it may be possible to get some of the tankers and cargo ships through.
Now, we've been reporting on the U.S. military refueling tanker, which crashed. There are deaths, 4 deaths linked to that. This is in Iraq. It does speak to the increasing, not just financial, but human toll on the military. We've got 11 military deaths so far as this inches past 2 weeks. How dangerous is the continuation of the status quo, not to mention what we've discussed along the Strait?
Well, in every war, there are risks and there are going to be casualties. And tragically, we had this crash of the refueling tankers. It was not caused by adversary action, but by the dangerous nature of all military operations. So as the war goes on, there will unfortunately be continuing casualties, although they've been relatively light compared to many other operations.
Yeah, well, war, incredibly costly. Colonel Mark Cancian, you know that better than most. We appreciate your insight today. Thank you.